had a little money. Charles Mensah is a financial analyst, and he's our friend on the show. Every year he comes through and really helps us make good decisions with our money. All right, so I mean, it's Christmas. The expectation is that everything is done with a little bit more specialness.
Yes.
You know, and those who sell things are aware of this.
Very much so.
And so the cost of things always go up around Christmas. Some people might do deals and offers and so forth, but generally, I mean, living is a little more expensive around Christmas. But the problem is that this year it's been tough.
It is, yes, admittedly.
People have lost money, and those who haven't lost money have certainly not gained more salaries or anything like that. So it's tight. What would you say should be the decision-making process for somebody listening today who wants to still be able to afford a decent, fun Christmas for his family or her family? What's the decision-making process you would walk them through?
Right. Kojo, thank you very much. I think first and foremost, there are two key things. There's the sources of your decision-making, which is your revenue or which is your income, and there's the expenditure side. Ideally, if you have unlimited sources of income, the monies are coming in here and there, then you wouldn't worry too much about expenditure. So when the kids, friends come in there, we want this, pick it, let's go here, we are going. But because you don't have that unlimited sources of, then what you should end up doing for this Christmas is to start by calculating how much is in your hands and how much is expected to be in your hands. That should be your first point. If you don't do that, what you're going to get is that you will spend more than what you are earning, which means that you're going to cover it with debt. And you don't want to start the new year with debt. And therefore, it's only 3 days. So plan out of your revenue, expected revenue or expected income. By now, most of you may have saved some money. Some of us who did some investment here and there in the money market lost quite a bit with this DDE. They lost quite a bit. So people are repackaging, recalibrating themselves. But there were equally some persons who were investing in the real estate business, in the delivery business. Because I had told quite a number of persons that, look, the way technology is moving here and there, if you invest in a delivery business, that's the motorbikes and things, it would help. Because now they are delivering from food up to medicine, everything they are. So those who, some person invested in it, and they are recouping. So if you have those income coming through, then it's easier. Now, after you've established that, then you go to the expenditure side. What are the critical things that I have to do? Maybe you have kids who require some fresh clothing line, some clothing, or you have kids that maybe they have a lot of clothes, but they want to go to special places. Now, special places could be a visit to your hometown. Maybe for all you know, you haven't been there in the last 2 years. So this is your opportunity to also visit your hometown. You get two things. You get to meet the family and your costs become lower because the food in our villages are pretty reasonable. I wouldn't say they're not expensive, but they're pretty reasonable. People can afford it. So you can spend, and then it will give the kids also some enjoyment, some environment, some new things that they will cherish in their lives, because tomorrow they can discuss when they go back to school with their friends. But caution, once you put that, because January would be a period where we're going to pay fees, we're going to spend quite a bit. You must add the fees element onto the expenditure side of the program that we are on. So the 3 days expenditure, which is your Christmas things, and then you add school fees to it. Most people rush to take a decision, and immediately after Christmas, in January, I mean, the kids are home, they've been kicked out, they're not paying school fees, and everybody's saying, why aren't you the same guy who did a party last week?
Yeah, but Charles, I mean, Charles Mensah, talking about the 3 day celebration, my concern is that for many persons who particularly work in the private sector, the last day at work is going to be Friday, and they would resume on the 8th. So they have 2 weeks in the house.
So multimedia, you're going to resume on the 8th?
A lot of people. That's a lot of people within the private sector.
Okay.
No, we are going to be working.
Okay.
So for a lot of people within the private sector, that's their reality. They have 10 working days at home. And this time around, you have Christmas on a Monday, Boxing Day on a Tuesday, New Year on a Monday.
Yeah.
So his expenditure is like over a 10-day period.
No. You see? No, but don't spend out of nothing. Because once you begin to do that, you have a problem. Now, if you're going to have 10 days and your work has given you 10 days because of the holiday arrangement, then there's a possibility that, listen, spend time with the family. Maybe you haven't had time with the family in a long while. You could go on a walk. You could go on the programs. There are programs around. And you are saying they're working. But the other people are not even working. They are trading. They are selling in the market. So they are not in the formal sector. But let them take the formal sector first. So 10 days holiday. Brilliant. It's excellent. What are the things that I can do with my 10 day? Maybe there's a carols night somewhere that you can participate. Maybe there's a musical concert somewhere that you can participate with the family here. So you line up all those things, and then within your kids, maybe we'll go for shopping. Maybe today we're going to go to a market, not shopping, but we'll go to a market where we're going to buy food stuff. It's a way of celebrating with your kids. So what are you buying? Get a list. Now this is where you teach them the list. The list is what are we buying and how much do you want to spend. When you take your kids to the market and their list is, some lists are giving you 300, 400 CDs, and you cannot afford, and you ration it and say take 300 or take 200. When you go to the market with them and then at the decision point, prices have changed, they will look at your face and say, what do I do? So no, take a decision. So they then have to, scale of preference, they then have to strike one or two out. You didn't take that decision. So it's an enjoyment. When they come back, you can have a discussion around it. That's one. Others too, you can go to church and have a church program. Most churches have church program. Others too, you can visit friends just for conversation. Look, if you don't have too much to spend out of, look for friends who are receiving a guest abroad, because Baham is when they are receiving the year of return chaps, when they come, some of that are spending, some of that, because they have planned and they are coming to execute. So you can be part of the execution.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes also being part of the execution is such that you must contribute. And these days, a lot of the meeting with the friends is NCNC contribution.
No, then change your friends.
You have to be strategic.
Contribution can be, helping with the arrangement of the chairs. Contribution could be standing behind the mic and selecting a song. Contribution could be charging the crowd, hype man to dance. So you all can play a role. I mean, you can dash to the kitchen and pick a bowl with food and rush to come and share the food with the people. That's contribution, but not where we all cross our legs.
Because that friend that you are talking about is also listening to this program and is saying, Charlie, times are hard. He probably may have a lot of expenditure in January to take care of. So if he's inviting you, and I see it happening, I mean, in a lot of, and I was talking to someone about my group, Fufuni Beer, for instance. When it's time for Christmas, the conversation will start somewhere in November. Like, guys, how are we celebrating Christmas? This time on, how much is the contribution? There's only one person who may not contribute. That's the person who's going to host. So if he's hosting you, he doesn't contribute. His contribution is his house.
Yeah, correct.
The rest, bring the money. So it's looking like maybe you're Fabiana blocking.
Oh, you are the one blocking the move right now. You have revealed the apple.
I mean, look, we all can be on the same page in terms of contribution.
Okay.
But here it is that your past should reflect, because if you're a past who always contributed to things when we're doing something, everybody will appreciate that. Charlie, listen, we still have a problem now. I mean, the wife just delivered, so I'm not saying your wife has delivered, but I'm just using that as an example. The wife just delivered, yeah. So let's get Winston out. Let's all contribute. These days, most of the WhatsApp groups, they are beginning to contribute money and having their annual party here and there. Now, the type of or the choice of food and selection of things that you do must be predicated on the sources of income or how much money you guys have. If indeed you have a lot of money, we will not cook, we will order. If we have, some reasonable amount of money, then maybe we'll cook. That'll be the time that we'll all go to the kitchen and do Facebook Live. You even get fans out of that. Some will be chopping onions, some will be cooking, some will be doing here. So make it a fun approach.
Okay.
Don't make an expenditure-driven approach where after everybody's gone, the here it is that you are sitting there, you are moaning and say, shit, what happened to me these 3 days? Look at how much I've spent. Then your kids or your family who haven't created this power fund, but you created it for yourself, the little conversation they want to have with you, and then you are shouting at them. It becomes more of a problem and things like that. Look, in terms of the family and the kids, it's difficult to explain to the kid that you don't have money, so we are not spending Christmas. But your way of doing things, what happens if you take the kids' clothes, help to iron them, that we are going somewhere? I'm coming. When I finish, we'll go somewhere. Give them those little things. We are going somewhere. Maybe try and find out where some place that hasn't been a long while. As affordability in terms of Uber, these days, working class, you can afford it. The Uber is there, they can afford it.
There's a surge around this time.
Yes. So you probably plan your event in between 2 and 3 and 4, where there isn't too much traffic. So the expenditure or the cost becomes lower, because everything is about planning. It's not rush. Some of the guys these days, a phone call away or a Facebook message that says so and so, he jump into it and he's going. Meanwhile, it wasn't part of the expenditure plan that he had. And that means that you are using other activities money for this unplanned activity. Once you do that, you deny yourself of the planned activity. So I think when you plan it, just stick to it a little bit. Only for 3 days, 4 days. If it's the 10 days that we're talking about, it's a shorter period. Just relax. If it's not in, I'm not going. If I'm going, that means that there's no expenditure attached to it. There is free. Maybe Kojo is coming to pick me at home, and he will drop in thereafter. So you're just chilling. I'll go. But if it has to be involved in transport, spending, when I haven't planned it, because I have other things that I'm supposed to do out of the mega thing. Now let me flip the bit to companies who are taking care of their employees. Now, around this time, there's a pressure on employers to dole out some salary, early salary, and bonuses here and there. If you can afford these two things, please, I beg you. I know how it works in the last 30 years in this system. I think that pay them their December salary if you are planning for it. Don't pay the bonus this year. Pay the bonus in January.
Yeah.
Because else, when they come back, they'll go and spend all those money. See, so pay December now. If you are not paying bonus, then split the December salary into 2. Explain away to your workers that this is the time. We don't have. We are chasing debtors. We are not getting it. Those who owe us, we are not getting it. So the mega one is this. If you're able to collect all the money due them, they will pay you the 100%, possibly pay you a certain percentage of the bonus. Have that other conversation with you, because else you would rush and take a decision because you think that your workers are not happy. It's Christmas. We have to give them something. And then you come and declare loss. And in January, creditors will be chasing you for their money. Banks will be chasing you to come and service their debt. Where it is that you can't service the debt in January, February. Meanwhile, the bankers who granted you the loan, they passed through your offices and saw that you were jamming. So these are the little things, the invisibles, that sometimes we take it as a joke. Can you imagine, Kojo, somebody owes you and the next minute you saw the person having a big time party on social media live?
It will become a police case.
Thank you.
We're talking to Charles Mensah, financial analyst, and he's walking us through how to celebrate Christmas on a budget. Listen, stay with us, because when we come back, we'll start getting specific. We'll ask about specific scenarios. What if you have a newborn baby? What if you have family traditions that you've been carrying out every year, and this year the expectation is on you? It's your turn. Maybe you go around family to family, and it's your turn. What do you do? Or maybe you've just got married and the expectations, show boy, have to do things. How do you manage these unexpected and also unexpected expenses? If your car goes keke at Christmas, how do you react? Veni Vidi Vici tweeting on, well, it's not tweeting anymore, posting on X.
On X, yes.
Yes.
At Noriega Smith.
That's right. He says, some of us, they will wait and pay us on 31st of December, and there's no bonus given to us. So, how do you celebrate the Christmas holidays?
Okay. If they would definitely pay you 31st December, it means that you have some hope coming through. On the back of that, you could buy some few things on credit, because something is going to come in on 31st. You can't, just like every day going to work, you can't afford not to eat. You will die. And on the basis of that, you could buy food on credit, and therefore when they pay you end of the month, then that vendor will be paid, and that makes it pretty. So, bro, please, on the basis of you getting some money on 31st, you should do that. Make sure that at least you order something for the house, and then you give them that excuse that 31st or on the 2nd or 3rd you would pay them.
Yeah, well, there you go. So I hope that works for you. And of course, we've got lots more to explore. I was thinking maybe we should start looking at a few actual scenarios, things that actually happen to people around Christmas. So, realistic things that can happen this Christmas that could throw most people, even the best laid plans. Your car breaks down, or a family member is suddenly sick. These eventualities, when they pop up at this time of year, what's the strategy?
You always have to keep a minimum of a certain amount of, if my memory serves me right, at each point in time, you have your 3 weeks expenditure always in cash. These days, always on Momo account. That is your emergency cash. You don't touch it, you don't do anything with it for such eventualities.
3 weeks expenditure.
Yeah, 3 weeks expenditure always. That's a fallback, because by the time you exhaust this, at least within the 3 weeks you have bounced back something else. So in terms of emergency, you must always have this 3 weeks cash. It's cash because sometimes you need to go and immediately sort out things that they need cash for. Fortunately, there's technology, so in your Momo account you have it there, and then you move on the basis of that. So you must have that, definitely. Because especially the young ones who have kids here and there, kids could eat something and they could choke on it. Then you have to rush. Can you imagine in your state of rushing, there's no petrol in your car, and then you want to make a call, there's no credit on your phone. That's the proper reality. And you are not living next door to somebody that you can easily go to. That's why you need that 3 week cash always with you, or in the form of Momo. That I will encourage you, that you ask yourself, the day you touch the 3 week cash, that's the day that you have finished. It means that you must be with you, and you must do it at least for the first 3 weeks. When you recover in terms of the sickness, or when you recover in terms of the challenge, or you would have figured out when the next meal will come after the 3 weeks. You would definitely have figured out. When you translate that back to your household, at each point in time, the rice, the oil, the meat, and things like that, you must have a buffer of 3 weeks food. And I've encouraged everybody that you must have. There's no way that you wake up in the morning, you go to the kitchen, or you open the fridge, that you mustn't have food. You must have cooked or uncooked food, at least to cover you for 3 weeks. Make it a habit. It's a habit. Make it a habit. Once you have that, at least there's food. If I don't have money to buy petrol, I should have food in the fridge. I should have drinks in the fridge. Those things don't allow 000. Especially when you begin to have kids, young kids and things like that. The kids can wake up at 11, 12, I'm hungry. He opens the fridge, it's only water. And things like that. You don't have to bring them up like that. Sacrifice yourself jointly between you and your spouse, and make sure that at least 3 weeks cash is on you, 3 weeks. Encourage your spouse to also have the same thing in terms of the 3 week cash. He or she may not adhere to, but at least you as a principal man have it. And the trick is that immediately the thing happened, and you say, well, we're going to get cash. Okay, on the chairman course kakra. So you just go out as if you made some calls. And then, okay, could you transfer Momo and Mommy? That's it. It's your own money. Okay, because when you don't put that little plan in there, it's your own money, and say somebody sent it to you, you would think that you always have money. But sometimes you have to send that.
You budget with it.
You budget with it and all those. So food, and then some small cash on you. Please make it a habit. Don't say things are tough. Look, things are tough, but we have to make something out of it. Because if you look at the amount of waste, food-wise, in every household, look at what we put in a bin. We don't have money, but look at the amount of waste we put in a bin. Please, when you are serving yourself, you must serve yourself what you can eat. The plate must be empty. Why would you serve yourself and eat half of what you serve? That's waste. In your household, if you do that, I mean, you're fine. Because you served yourself, kakra. Unlike where I grew up for the bubuashi, that one you don't serve yourself. They serve you. They don't know the weight things, and so you're waiting for your parents to see whether there are plates. There are some there come and clear, and then so that you can add that one to yours. And that's what it is. And around that time, in the areas of Bubuashi, Kanisha, and things like that, it was purely a community base. So people were not worried about Christmas, because if parent one doesn't have a parent, two would have it. Parent C will have it. They will cook rice, and then sometimes they will shout that bring your bowl. So it was a community thing. These days, community thing now it's turned into electronic community. So the social media community more like, but social media community.
Bring your bowl on Facebook.
You can't. So we are missing something, and we are missing a tradition. Before the break, you talked about tradition. This is what I'm talking about. This is a tradition. So you know that Christmas after church, we have to go to one's house. That's a tradition. And because it's a tradition, it means there's something that reoccurs every now and then. It's not a surprise. If it's a surprise, then it's not tradition. So on the basis of that, then you would have prepared yourself towards it. I.e., buying like this year when we go to a normal family gathering, I'm going with this. So you have prepared your mind, self, money towards it. So nothing becomes a surprise. And I like to keep the tradition thing. I like tradition a bit. Not a bit. Every year my Christmas is planned. So from January I've planned what I'm going to do. 26th, I do things on 26th. I visit my ghetto every 26th. We cook food, 300, 400. We've been doing it for the last 20 years.
Wow.
Yes, my family and things. We go there and friends. This is friends I've joined. We go and serve the people where I used to live, where I grew up. So we serve them throughout, and sometimes we share a size book here and there, and that's it. And then I have 31st to myself.
Okay.
To myself, where I invite friends to come. But unfortunately, this year I'm not doing 31st.
Oh, why? Because
my kids are grown. They've gone. They've all traveled. And after party, cleaning your house after party. so I've directed that energy also that, okay, for what I will do for my party, let me go and donate to a school.
That's nice.
So that one too is going to a school, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
So everything must be planned. Yeah, everything must be planned. So I'm sure that you may have nice plans. Because before we went on there, you're telling me about your plans, and I love it. So, we see what you call it telling me.
Yes,
and I enjoy the fufu bit. I'll come and join you.
No, we invite you. Yes, the squad will be willing.
Yes.
That's right.
You enjoy it.
Fantastic. With all kinds of protein floating around.
But somebody just sent a message. I mean, a post on X.
Yeah.
Says, Gary, make you tell your morning show people say the Christmas budget, your children, the school teachers make wild. Tomorrow be our day.
Yeah.
Tell the kiddies say make they no come empty-handed.
That's true.
Wahala.
And I'm sure the parents can relate.
Yes, that's
I mean, they have contributions these days. On the teachers. And so you have to make that contribution. And then you have to, do other things. Oh, I've actually forgotten about our day.
That's another expense. That's another expense. You have to settle the teacher. There's another thing that doesn't happen always, and there are some people listening today whose Christmas involves it. Maybe they've just got married, or they've just started a new, relationship. So suddenly, Christmas is not just about them, or they've maybe just had a new baby. So it's not just about them. There's a dependent involved, and maybe from the beginning of the year they were planning for themselves, but now Christmas has fallen upon them, and they've made the mistake of going to fall in love somewhere during the year. So now, unexpected cost, but it involves another person. What's the plan here? Can you rope that person's expenditure in, or how do
Fortunately, if we look at marriage first before having a child, okay, so assuming you marry, the marriage wouldn't be we meet today, tomorrow I'm going to marry. No, it would have been planned out of revenue. So some calculation would have been done out of the marriage. Now, once you start the marriage and we're expecting a baby takes an average of 9 months, and therefore you and I would know that in 9 months' time we will have our first child. This isn't something that came out of the blue. So it means that this first Christmas our baby is coming. So we'll cut back our weekly expenditure at the beginning of the 9th month. We'll cut back the first month, at the beginning of the first month. So we'll have to cut back and say we are preparing, expecting our Jesus. We are expecting our baby, something God to give. So if there were some monies that you were reserving for as gift to your church or for program, you have to divert it, because you brought a new, fresh human being onto earth. So that monies can be directed at. It's the same thing or a church. So I'm from chapel on the show about or the same thing. Trust me, or the same thing, and therefore you have that money there, and it's there, and then you look after the child. Once you look after the child, you are being blessed quietly, and your income will go up for the following year. But where you don't plan those little things and behave as if the pregnancy just came in and the baby just came in and all those ones, then I'm afraid that you are not sitting down. This Christmas, find time, sit down, and much 4:30, go and sit there and think and plan and see what you're going to do. Nothing should be done out of the blue. Even incident that involves money, that's why we have insurance. People have insurance, they have endowment fund, they have this, they have that, and they are planning. This financial planning is all over the place. So don't just wake up in the morning and just go and spend, but plan a little bit. Focus next year or this as we are going. Focus on multiple streams, ideas. You people have plenty of ideas. How do you cash out? And I think that turning your idea into things is a different topic that one day I'll come and help you shape it up.
And in fact, maybe if there are ideas of how to make money during Christmas, if there are business opportunities that are presented by the season of Christmas, it will be interesting to
I'll quickly touch a few things. Look, you have a car and you're not married, you're single, you have a car and things. Why don't you turn it into picking and dropping using the Uber app or some other app thing that we have now? You can do it, you make some money out of it. Delivery service at night, where people are ordering food here and there, you can be at it. You can even do the community one, where within this area, all the food joints in the area, you can participate over a period. Now, 2, you have the year of return. Still people are coming. You go to the airport, you see people coming. People don't know certain sites, they want to go and see the site. You can be a tourist guide,
temporary tour guide,
and then you pick up some cash from the people. Not a lot. You're having fun, but you're making money out of it. And I think that's some of the things that we can do. If you do it now, you plan it well, and it doesn't work, at least go back to a drawing board and see and figure out, maybe you have to partner somebody else to do it and do it right. And that's it. Maybe some persons too, they like to go to the beach. You can drive them to the beach and pick them at a certain period of time. You just tell them, listen, you can't go to the beach alone. I'll go and drop you. I know how I handle it. For security reasons, this is how much you pay. So we go to a certain beach. I won't allow you to go to here and all those ones. So they see it as a service. They see it as a service. And then next time when their friends are coming, they plug you in. And this is what we have to take advantage of.
Yeah.
Always when there's a problem, take advantage of it. Look for the opportunity there and catch it.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, I'm Tom Preko, so please.
Oh, there you go. Immediate opportunity spotted.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Charles Mensah is giving us some very useful advice on how to celebrate Christmas on a budget. Before you leave, last question. They say it's the season of giving, but if you are broke, how do you give at Christmas?
You can't borrow to give, and therefore don't give. You just call them in prayers.
Amen. Charles Mensah, financial analyst. As always, a delight to have you on the show. Thank you so much for your time. It's the Super Morning Show on Joy.